Welcome to Echoes of Hollywood. There are voices we never truly forget, because they became part of the lives we were living when we first heard them. A love song recalls someone we once held close. A dance record brings back a room, a summer, a younger version of ourselves. From soul and disco to rock and pop, these remarkable women shaped the 1970s and 80s. Today, we revisit 60 unforgettable singers and discover where the passing years have taken them. Tina Turner turned raw power, resilience, and electrifying stage presence into an extraordinary second act, with What's Love Got to Do with It defining her 1980s comeback. After retiring, she found a quieter life in Switzerland. Turner passed away in 2023 at 83, leaving behind something greater than hit records, a story of courage, reinvention, and hard-won freedom. Diana Ross carried the elegance of Motown into a remarkable solo career, making Ain't No Mountain High Enough one of her signature recordings. Now 82, she continues appearing on stage, still surrounded by the glamour audiences have associated with her for decades. For those who remember her earliest years, seeing Ross today feels like watching a living piece of music history. When disco filled dance floors, Donna Summer's sensual, soaring voice became inseparable from the era, with Last Dance and Hot Stuff defining countless nights. Her music later proved far broader than one genre. Summer passed away in 2012 at 63 from lung cancer, but hearing those records can still make the glittering late 1970s suddenly feel close again. Olivia Newton-John brought a rare gentleness to pop before Grease transformed her into an international phenomenon, while Physical revealed an entirely different side. Through later years marked by recurring breast cancer, she remained remarkably hopeful and devoted to wellness advocacy. Newton-John passed away in 2022 at 73, remembered with an affection that reached far beyond her music. Cher never seemed interested in belonging to just one era, moving from 1970s television glamour to 1980s rock with an unmistakable voice and fearless image. Now 80, she remains culturally visible decades after most of her contemporaries left the spotlight. Her longevity feels less like survival than continual reinvention. One generation discovering her after another had already claimed her. Stevie Nicks brought mystery, vulnerability, and poetic drama to rock, her unmistakable voice turning Fleetwood Mac's dreams into something almost hypnotic. Now 78, she continues performing for audiences spanning several generations, carrying the shawls, stories, and distinctive presence that became her signature. Few artists have remained so recognizable while preserving the mystique that first made them fascinating. Linda Ronstadt could move effortlessly from rock and country to pop and traditional Mexican music, with Blue Bayou showcasing the warmth and power of her voice. Now 80, she no longer sings publicly after progressive supranuclear palsy affected her ability to perform. Yet her recordings preserve a voice whose extraordinary versatility still feels difficult to match. Barbra Streisand combined extraordinary vocal control with dramatic storytelling, making the way we were one of the most enduring recordings of the 1970s. Now 84, she has largely stepped away from regular performing while remaining an influential cultural figure. Her voice still carries memories of an era when a beautifully interpreted song could command attention without spectacle. Dolly Parton transformed Appalachian storytelling into worldwide success, writing deeply personal songs like Jolene while never losing the warmth of her Tennessee roots. Now 80, she remains remarkably creative and culturally present, continuing to release music and pursue new projects. Beneath the rhinestones and humor, her greatest achievement may be how genuinely familiar she still feels to generations of listeners. Gladys Knight brought elegance and emotional authority to soul, making Midnight Train to Georgia unforgettable with a voice that could sound powerful and intimate at once. Now 82, she continues performing, allowing longtime fans to experience that familiar voice in person. More than 6 decades later, the Empress of Soul still carries herself with the grace audiences remember. Chaka Khan brought explosive power and fearless personality to funk and soul, with Every Woman becoming an anthem that transcended its era. Now 73, she continues performing while celebrating more than 5 decades in music. That unmistakable voice still carries the fire and freedom that made her stand apart when female artists were fighting to define themselves. Patti LaBelle could turn a quiet phrase into a soaring declaration, and Lady Marmalade revealed just how commanding her voice could be. Now 82, she remains active on stage, bringing the same warmth, humor, and vocal intensity audiences have cherished for decades. Her longevity feels especially remarkable because the personality behind that extraordinary voice has never faded. Dionne Warwick gave sophisticated pop a voice of effortless elegance, turning Burt Bacharach and Hal David songs like I'll Never Fall in Love Again into classics. Now 85, she continues making appearances and performing for longtime admirers. Her graceful phrasing remains instantly recognizable, carrying listeners back to an era when melody, restraint, and interpretation mattered enormously. Roberta Flack never needed to overpower a song. Her intimate delivery made The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face and Killing Me Softly feel almost private. After ALS ended her ability to sing, she lived away from performing. Flack passed away in 2025 at 88, leaving recordings whose quiet emotional power still invites listeners closer. Natalie Cole stepped beyond the enormous shadow of her father, Nat King Cole, with sophisticated hits like This Will and later the deeply moving Unforgettable duet. Her life included triumphs, personal struggles, and remarkable comebacks. Cole passed away in 2015 at 65, but her finest recordings preserve a warmth and elegance entirely her own. Carly Simon captured the confidence and complications of 1970s relationships with unusually personal songwriting, making You're So Vain an irresistible cultural mystery. Now 83, she lives more privately than during her busiest years, while her songs continue revealing new shades with age. That intimate, conversational voice still sounds like someone sharing a secret rather than simply performing one. Carole King transformed deeply personal songwriting into universal emotion, with Tapestry and It's Too Late becoming inseparable from the sound of the early 1970s. Now 84, she has largely stepped away from regular touring, occasionally returning for special appearances. Her music still feels remarkably close, like songs discovered decades ago that somehow grew older alongside the people listening. Joni Mitchell refused to make easy music, turning love, freedom, regret, and self-discovery into beautifully intricate songs like A Case of You. Now 82, she has made remarkable returns to public performance after serious health challenges. Hearing her sing again carries unusual emotional weight, especially for listeners who once believed those extraordinary performances belonged entirely to the past. Karen Carpenter possessed a warm, aching contralto unlike almost anyone around her, making songs like Superstar and Rainy Days and Mondays feel painfully intimate. Behind that gentle voice, however, she struggled with anorexia nervosa. Carpenter passed away in 1983 at only 32, yet hearing her today can still feel less like nostalgia than remembering someone we somehow knew. Emmylou Harris brought crystalline harmonies and quiet emotional depth to country and folk, with Boulder to Birmingham revealing the tenderness beneath her unmistakable voice. Now 79, she remains deeply respected for a career built on collaboration, musical curiosity, and integrity. Her silver-haired grace today seems a natural continuation of the thoughtful artist listeners first discovered decades ago. Anne Murray brought calm sophistication to country pop, her warm contralto making Snowbird and You Needed Me feel sincere without ever sounding overstated. Now 81, she has been retired from performing for years, enjoying a quieter life away from touring. Her recordings still carry the gentle reassurance that once made her voice a familiar companion in homes across North America. Crystal Gayle paired an elegant voice with an unforgettable image, turning Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue into one of country pop's defining crossover hits. Now 75, she continues making select appearances and performing, still warmly received by longtime audiences. Her graceful sound remains closely tied to an era when country music moved effortlessly onto mainstream radio. Barbara Mandrell became one of country music's most versatile entertainers, combining musicianship, glamour, and television stardom with hits like I Was Country When Country Wasn't Cool. Now 77, she has long been retired from performing, choosing family life over the stage. Yet for viewers who remember her television years, that dazzling energy remains remarkably easy to picture. Tanya Tucker entered country music astonishingly young, but Delta Dawn immediately revealed a voice carrying far more experience than her years suggested. Now 67, she has enjoyed a remarkable late-career resurgence, earning new recognition without abandoning her rough-edged individuality. After more than 5 decades, Tucker still sounds like someone who lived every complicated story she sings. Brenda Lee may have been small in stature, but her enormous voice made I'm Sorry Unforgettable and Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree a perennial favorite. Now 81, she largely enjoys life beyond regular touring while occasionally returning to the public eye. Decades later, hearing that unmistakable voice can instantly collapse the distance between childhood memories and today. Shirley Bassey brought theatrical power and unmistakable glamour to popular music, with Goldfinger forever linking her extraordinary voice to the world of James Bond. Now 89, she has largely left regular performing behind, appearing only on special occasions. That dramatic vibrato remains instantly recognizable, recalling an era when singers could command a room through voice and presence alone. Bette Midler blended powerhouse singing with humor and theatrical flair, turning songs like The Rose into emotional favorites while building a career far beyond music. Now 80, she performs far less frequently than during her busiest decades, but remains culturally visible. Her enduring appeal comes from something difficult to manufacture: equal measures of vulnerability, wit, and unapologetic showmanship. Pat Benatar gave early 1980s rock a fierce female voice, with Heartbreaker and Love Is a Battlefield capturing both strength and vulnerability. Now 73, she continues performing alongside her longtime musical partner and husband, Neil Giraldo. The songs remain powerful, but seeing them together decades later adds another dimension, a musical partnership that survived long after MTV's earliest years faded. Debbie Harry made Blondie impossible to categorize, combining punk attitude, pop instinct, and downtown New York cool on classics like Heart of Glass. Now 81, she remains creatively active and instantly recognizable, even as the world around that original scene has changed dramatically. Her influence survives not through nostalgia alone, but in generations of fearless female performers. Gloria Gaynor turned heartbreak into defiance when I Will Survive became far more than a disco hit. It became an anthem of resilience around the world. Now 82, she continues performing and sharing the song with audiences who have given it new meanings across decades. Few singers have been fortunate enough to create one recording that keeps finding people exactly when they need it. Bonnie Tyler's unmistakable husky voice turned It's a Heartache into a worldwide success before total eclipse of the heart made her an enduring 1980s icon. She continued performing into 2026 before serious illness led to emergency intestinal surgery. Tyler died unexpectedly in Portugal on July 8, 2026, at 75, closing a career defined by passion and extraordinary vocal character. Kim Carnes possessed one of pop's most recognizable raspy voices, transforming Betty Davis' Eyes into a hypnotic worldwide sensation in 1981. Now 81, she lives far more quietly than during her chart-topping years while remaining connected to her music and creative work. That wonderfully weathered voice still makes her signature recording instantly recognizable within its opening moments. Sheena Easton arrived with youthful charm before proving remarkably adaptable, moving from Morning Train to the sleek sophistication of Strut and later collaborations with Prince. Now 67, she performs more selectively than during her 1980s peak. Her catalog recalls an era when pop stars could reinvent themselves dramatically within only a few remarkable years. Juice Newton found the perfect meeting point between country and pop, with Angel of the Morning and Queen of Hearts becoming radio favorites far beyond Nashville. Now 74, she maintains a considerably quieter profile than during her hit-making years. Her clear, expressive voice remains closely associated with the warm crossover sound that defined early 1980s radio. Grace Jones never simply entered a room, she seemed to transform it, combining music, fashion, and fearless theatricality on recordings like Pull Up to the Bumper. Now 78, she remains an unmistakable cultural presence whose striking image still feels surprisingly modern. Few performers from the era challenged expectations of femininity, style, and pop stardom quite so boldly. Suzi Quatro brought leather-clad swagger and hard-driving bass to 1970s rock, proving women could command the stage without softening their sound or attitude. Now 76, she continues performing and recording, carrying the same rebellious energy that first distinguished her. For many women who watched her then, Quatro represented something genuinely new: permission to be loud. Rita Coolidge brought a soft, smoky intimacy to 1970s pop, making We're All Alone and Higher feel effortless rather than showy. Now 81, she continues to be celebrated for a career that crossed rock, country, and pop. Her recordings preserve the relaxed warmth of an era when understatement could be every bit as powerful as spectacle. Maria Muldaur blended folk, blues, jazz, and roots music with an easy sensuality, turning Midnight at the Oasis into one of the 1970s most distinctive hits. Now 83, she remains closely connected to the blues and American roots traditions that shaped her career. Her musical journey ultimately proved far richer than that one unforgettable radio favorite. Mavis Staples carried gospel conviction into soul and social consciousness, with the Staple Singers' I'll Take You There becoming a defining sound of the 1970s. Now 87, she remains creatively active, releasing new music and performing as recently as 2026. Her weathered voice now carries something impossible to imitate, more than 7 decades of lived history. Janice Ian wrote with unusual emotional honesty, turning at 17 into a painfully recognizable portrait of loneliness, insecurity, and growing up outside the crowd. Now 75, she has stepped away from regular touring after a long career devoted to songwriting and storytelling. The vulnerability in her finest songs still speaks quietly to anyone who once felt invisible. Kate Bush turned art pop into something mysterious and deeply personal, with Wuthering Heights and Running Up That Hill revealing an imagination unlike anyone around her. Now 68, she remains famously private and rarely performs, yet younger generations have rediscovered her music with remarkable enthusiasm. Her songs still sound wonderfully strange, as though they were never designed to belong to one decade. Annie Lennox brought icy sophistication and extraordinary emotional power to Eurythmics, with Sweet Dreams becoming one of the defining sounds and images of the 1980s. Now 71, she performs selectively while devoting considerable energy to humanitarian causes. Beneath the striking visuals that first captured attention, her commanding voice remains the reason those recordings have endured so beautifully. Belinda Carlisle moved from the Go-Go's energetic new wave beginnings into solo pop stardom, with Heaven is a Place on Earth becoming an irresistible 1980s anthem. Now 67, she continues recording and performing, embracing the music that has followed her for decades. Her voice can still transport longtime listeners straight back to youthful summers, radios, and carefree nights. Cyndi Lauper burst into the 1980s with color, humor, and fearless individuality, while time after time revealed the tenderness beneath her playful image. Now 73, she remains an outspoken cultural figure after completing her farewell tour. What once seemed wonderfully eccentric now feels remarkably influential, especially for generations of artists encouraged to look and sound entirely like themselves. Madonna transformed pop stardom into an art of constant reinvention, with Like a Prayer demonstrating how confidently she could combine provocation, ambition, and unforgettable melody. Now 67, she remains culturally visible after decades of controversy and transformation. Whatever one thinks of her choices, few female performers change the possibilities of modern pop fame as dramatically. Whitney Houston possessed a voice of astonishing clarity and power, turning I Wanna Dance with Somebody and I Will Always Love You into defining performances. Behind that extraordinary gift, her later years were marked by painful personal struggles. Houston died in 2012 at only 48, but when that voice rises today, everything else briefly seems to disappear. Janet Jackson stepped beyond her famous family name by creating a fiercely independent identity, with Control and Rhythm Nation 1814 reshaping late 1980s pop and R&B. Now 60, she continues performing for audiences who remember those groundbreaking videos firsthand. Her precision, choreography, and understated vocal style helped establish a blueprint countless younger pop performers would eventually follow. Gloria Estefan brought Latin rhythms into mainstream American pop with irresistible energy, as Conga and Anything for You made her voice familiar around the world. Now 68, she remains active in music and entertainment while enjoying the stature of a crossover pioneer. Her songs still carry the celebratory warmth of crowded dance floors and unforgettable 1980s nights. Paula Abdul moved from acclaimed choreography into unexpected pop stardom, with Straight Up and Opposites Attract making her one of MTV's most recognizable late 1980s performers. Now 64, she continues appearing in entertainment and occasionally returning to the stage. Her greatest hits remain inseparable from an era when choreography, personality, and music videos could turn a singer into a phenomenon. Saad Edu brought elegance and restraint to 1980s soul, her velvety voice making Smooth Operator and The Sweetest Taboo feel sophisticated without ever sounding distant. Now 67, she maintains an exceptionally private life and appears publicly only rarely. That scarcity has preserved something unusual around her music, the sense that Saad never needed constant visibility to remain unforgettable. Reba McEntire turned heartbreak, resilience, and everyday stories into country music that felt deeply personal, with Whoever's in New England marking a defining breakthrough. Now 71, she remains remarkably active across music, television, and live performance. After 5 decades in the spotlight, her Oklahoma warmth and unmistakable voice still make audiences feel they are welcoming back an old friend. Winona Judd brought a rich, powerful voice to the Judds, helping songs like Mama He's Crazy define 1980s country harmony before establishing her own solo identity. Now 62, she continues performing after the heartbreaking loss of her mother and musical partner, Naomi. Each appearance carries something deeper now, the sound of an artist preserving both her own story and a cherished family legacy. Kylie Minogue transformed from Australian television actress into an international pop star, with I Should Be So Lucky capturing the bright optimism of late 1980s pop. Now 58, she continues recording and performing with remarkable longevity, repeatedly reinventing herself without losing her playful spirit. Decades later, Kylie remains proof that joyful pop music can age with surprising grace. Enya created a musical world almost entirely her own, layering ethereal vocals and atmospheric arrangements into songs like Orinoco Flow that sounded unlike ordinary 1980s pop. Now 65, she maintains an exceptionally private life and rarely appears publicly. That distance somehow suits the music, preserving the mystery surrounding a voice that has always seemed to come from somewhere beyond everyday life. Amanda Lear became an unmistakable figure of European disco, combining a deep, unusual voice, glamorous image, and provocative personality on songs like Follow Me. Now 86, she remains culturally visible through television, art, and occasional public appearances. Decades after disco's peak, her enduring fascination owes as much to her wit and mystery as to the records themselves. Rickie Lee Jones arrived with an unconventional voice and bohemian storytelling style, turning Chuck E.S. in Love into one of 1979's most distinctive recordings. Now 71, she continues making music and performing, still following her own creative instincts rather than predictable trends. Her songs retain the restless, late-night atmosphere that made her difficult to categorize from the beginning. Faith Hill brought elegance and emotional warmth to 1990s country before this Kiss and Breathe carried her far beyond Nashville audiences. Now 58, she performs less frequently than during her commercial peak and has maintained a comparatively private profile. Her recordings still recall the moment when country pop became one of American music's biggest and most polished sounds. Toni Braxton's deep, smoky contralto immediately distinguished her from other 1990s R&B singers, with Unbreak My Heart becoming her devastating signature ballad. Now 58, she remains involved in music and entertainment after navigating well-publicized health and personal challenges. That unmistakable lower register still carries the sophistication and vulnerability that made her breakthrough feel so different. Tori Amos brought classical piano, confessional songwriting, and fearless emotional honesty into alternative music, with Cornflake Girl revealing just how unconventional her world could be. Now 62, she continues recording and touring for a devoted international audience. Her willingness to explore difficult subjects has kept her work intensely personal rather than comfortably nostalgic decades later. Amy Grant helped bring contemporary Christian music into the mainstream before Baby Baby made her an unexpected pop star in the early 1990s. Now 65, she continues performing after recovering from serious health challenges in recent years. Her gentle voice and openness have allowed longtime listeners to follow not simply a career, but the changing seasons of a life. Perhaps the greatest voices never really grow old, because somewhere inside their songs, our younger selves are still listening. Some of these women remain with us, while others have become treasured memories, yet a familiar melody can suddenly erase decades. We remember who we loved, where we were, and how different life once felt. Thank you for watching Echoes of Hollywood. If one voice carried you back to a special moment today, share that memory below. Some memories deserve to live on.